Hello and welcome to the setup instructions for the Library Research Service monthly board report template tool. If you would like to complete your setup along with this video, pause here and open a second browser window. Sign in to the Google account you'll be using to store the two files that are required. To find the instructions, as well as the two files you need to complete your report, go to lrs.org. From the Library Research Service homepage, hover over Data and Tools, General, and then click on Public Library Monthly Board Report Template. There's a brief informational page about what the tool does and a link to the setup instructions. And just a reminder, what we're doing today is a one-time setup. Click on those instructions, and once there, you will see a couple of links to the data for the report and the slides that are created. We need to make copies of both of these so that you have your own to work on. So first up, let's make those copies. Click on Monthly Board Report Data and open that template. It opens in view-only mode, so we need to make a copy. Click File, Make a Copy, and give it a name that makes sense to you. By default, the sheet will be saved in your My Drive folder, but you can change that location. Click Make a Copy. Once the copy is made, you can close that parent version of the template. And now we'll go back to the directions and repeat the process for the slides. Click on the link, open that view-only version of the report slides, and make a copy. File, make a copy of the entire presentation. Give it a name that makes sense to you. Again, it will be saved in My Drive by default. You could change that if you wish, and click Make a Copy. Takes a minute for that to load. It's a big file. We can now close that parent template, and we have our two files. The key to making this work is to connect the two together. And the way to do that is to grab the URL or the link of the Google Sheet that will contain your data, highlight that link, right-click Copy, or if you prefer, do a keyboard Control-C or Command-C if you're on a Mac. Then over in the report slides, at the top, look for the extensions in your navigation bar and click Apps Script. The only line we need to be concerned about is line 2, where we're going to create a constant with that URL that you copied earlier. Click to put your cursor in between the single quotes and then paste that URL. Control V or Command V or that right-click paste. Be sure to keep the semicolon at the end of that line and then make sure that the URL is in between those single quotes. Up at the top, look for the old style floppy disk and click Save Project to Drive. You can now close that tab and return to the monthly board report. In order for the connection to work, we need to authorize the access between the two. You'll notice at the top of the board report, there is a new item on the menu, Board Report Menu. Click there, and then click on Authorize Script in the drop-down menu. You should see a prompt that says authorization is required. Click OK, and a window will open up that's basically asking permission for your Google documents to talk to each other. Click Select All, and click Continue. This is safe to do because you know where this script came from. I don't recommend doing this for something else you might just find out there on the web. When authorization is completed, You get some instructions to click on Add Charts. I'm going to hold off on that for a moment until we have some data to put in those charts. So go ahead and click OK. Let's take a look at this worksheet. The first sheet has some instructions, as well as a link back to the instructions for the setup that we're working through right now. The programming tracking is a bit more detailed than the other items that we're collecting data on, so it gets its own instructions. I'll let you read through those yourself. But if we take a look at the programming tracking worksheet, you'll see that it's going to ask you some very specific questions about each program, and that's in order to collect all the data that you'll need to fill out the Public Library Annual Report. I've pre-populated a sheet so that you don't have to watch me do data entry, so I'll just throw some information out there. So the questions you need to fill out are program name, the date, whether or not it's summer reading, the format, in-person, on-site, off-site, a live, virtual, or pre-recorded, and the age group that you're targeting. Remember, this is who you're targeting, not necessarily who shows up, but who did you plan the program for? We all know good programs get word of mouth and then everybody shows up. How many were in attendance or how many were online? The visits tracking that we're going to take time to do a little bit of as well. Notice this is a much more simplified chart. We're going to just ask about current year, past year, and any projections or goals that you might have. You do not need to fill out these final two columns. They're just there if you want to use them. And we'll just put in some made up numbers for our chart. And I'll back out a little bit so you can see as soon as you start entering data, a chart is formed. This bar chart is what will show up in your report. If you do include past year numbers, those will also show up, and so you can compare visually year over year where you were at that same month last year. And if you do put in some projections, it will also start to give you those numbers as well. Again, those are optional. You do need to put in current year to have at least that point of reference. So once you do have some data entered, let's go back and add those charts. So again, under Board Report menu, click on Add Charts. The initial script takes a while to run. So let's talk a little bit about what's on the report. You've got a cover slide that you can customize. There's a slide just suggestion for maybe something you wanted to highlight from that month for your board. You can use this however you'd like, and know that you can delete any slides you don't want to have included. You can also add slides. This is now your report to do with what you will. Each of the blue squares right now is a placeholder that will be replaced with a chart once you start to put data in that sheet. And it looks like the script has finished, and indeed, our slide with visits has started to populate with the data that you entered. The slides that don't have any data on the sheet corresponding to it yet are simply empty, but they will fill in once you add some data to that area in the sheet. And our programs have started to fill out. We've got total programs, total live attendance, whether it was on-site or off-site, and also a breakdown by age. Who was that target age group? And attendance by age as well. Once you do add more data, let's say that another month has passed just on visits, and maybe we just keep the same projection all year. So you've added some more data, you come back to your slides, and this is where you're going to really live as far as what you need to click now. Going forward, you've connected the sheets, you've added the charts, so anytime you add new data, from here on out, you will click Update All Charts under the Board Report menu. So we'll click on that. And you'll get used to this wait time, but you can see March has now populated on the visits slide. That's about it. You are ready to do your monthly board reports with this one-time setup. If you have any questions or need some help with any of it, please contact us, lrs@lrs.org. Happy reporting.